Commander Eva Rostova's knuckles were white on the command console, her eyes fixed on the main display. It showed the endless, starless void outside the Odyssey, a coffin of metal and hope floating through the intergalactic dark. The ship was silent. Too silent. The usual hum of life support, the thrum of the fusion core, the faint chatter of the crew. It was all gone, muted by an unseen force. Then came the pressure, a physical weight pressing down on the hull, a sound that wasn't a sound but a feeling, a deep, resonant thrum that vibrated through her bones and into her teeth. It was the leviathans. They were here again. On the comms, only static, their telepathic assault a psychic scream that scrambled electronics and broke minds. Eva had seen good men driven mad, their eyes wide and vacant, babbling in languages they didn't know. They were the ghosts of the Odyssey, and tonight they were hunting. Kalen Vance sat in the observation lounge, his fingers tracing the worn curves of his old cello. He hadn't played it in weeks, not since the first attack. The leviathans didn't just silence sound, they consumed it, turned it into a weapon that could unravel a man's sanity. But silence was a death sentence. It made them pray. Kalen knew this. He also knew that the logical, military mind of Commander Rostova would never authorize his plan. It was insane, a symphony against a psychic tide. Yet, as the pressure on the hull intensified, a low, mournful groan of stressed metal echoing through the ship, he saw the fear in the eyes of the crew passing by. They were waiting for the end, a silent, suffocating demise. He closed his eyes, not in fear, but in focus. He didn't need permission. He needed an audience. Eva's head snapped up as a single, pure note resonated through the corridor. It was a cello, a sound so achingly beautiful it seemed impossible in the oppressive silence. She stormed out of the bridge, her boots echoing in the empty passageway, following the sound to the observation lounge. There she found Kalen, his bow drawn across the strings, his eyes closed in concentration. "Vance, what in God's name are you doing?" she hissed, her voice tight with panic. "That sound is a beacon. You're painting a target on us." He didn't stop. The note swelled, rich and complex, a counterpoint to the psychic pressure that made the air thick and heavy. "They hunt silence, Commander," he said, his voice strained but steady. "They hunt the absence of resistance. They don't know what to do with noise." The Leviathan's psychic scream intensified, a physical agony that made Eva's vision swim. On the main screen, the void seemed to writhe, a billion invisible eyes turning towards their source, Kalen and his cello. But he didn't stop. He played faster, a frantic, chaotic melody, a cacophony of dissonant notes that defied all logic. It was irrational, a desperate act of defiance against an enemy that could not be fought with bullets or lasers. The Leviathan's psychic presence faltered, confused. Their weapon was order, the predictable patterns of fear and silence. Kalen gave them chaos. He gave them the sound of a human soul, raw and untamable. The pressure on the hull eased. The screaming in their minds quieted, replaced by the wild, untamable music of a man who chose to fight back not with reason, but with the beautiful, terrifying sound of his own courage.